Now the final kit for October is the herb planter kit. Now this kit comes with such a beautiful pot. It is a delicately scalloped terracotta pot and saucer. This is again one of mine. It's really old. It's got some beautiful watermarks on it, and yeah, it's a slightly more delicate, I'd say, pot of ours. Yeah, I think that's how I describe it. So the scalloping is a little bit more delicate, and the pot in itself is a little bit thinner, so it feels a little bit more delicate, a bit daintier, but it's a beautiful planter. Really versatile, you can put anything in it and you can use it as for styling your homes on its own, in my opinion. I think it looks beautiful just on its own on a shelf. But for now we're going to pot it up with some beautiful herbs. So you will have your rosemary and your sage and your thyme, which trails beautifully. These are all very fresh plants, so they're quite little, quite young. This hasn't started to massively trail yet, but it will. The reason that I bought this kit back for October, we did the trio last month, which sold out, was just because I feel like October, and as we head into sort of the colder months, is just such a time for gathering in the home with friends and family, you know, sort of all congregating in the kitchen. You know, you've got a beautiful roast cooking, and it's a kit that I feel, you know, I wouldn't say, yeah, I do feel passionate about it. I feel passionate about the idea of me designing something, you potting it up and having it in your house, and then, you know, using it for cooking. I love cooking, it's one of my favourite sort of hobbies. So yeah, I just love the idea of you guys just, you know, cooking away, taking a bit of rosemary and a bit of sage for your roast potatoes. That fills me with joy. So here is the kit. I'm going to put it up and show you how to look after it. So we'll start with the gravel. So use all the gravel that's in the brown paper bag in your kit, and then a gentle kind of scattering, maybe a couple of handfuls of compost just on top of the gravel, and then just gently push that down. Okay, so let's pot up the plants. We'll start with the thyme, which smells amazing. The root system is hefty. Wow. Okay, now I'm just going to plant it in a way where I'm sort of tilting it over the edge of the pot. So instead of kind of putting it like this, I'm putting it like that, so that it trails, as you can see, over the pot, and then it will continue to trail as it grows. Okay, and then the rosemary. Again, planting it at a slight angle. And then the purple sage. Sage, I think, is one of the most underrated herbs. I love it. And the purple sage, the colour, the tones, it's so autumnal. Yeah, I love this herb. Okay, so then that goes again at an angle. So all three, actually, that needs, for some reason, isn't as high. So I'm just going to put some compost underneath the sage, so that it's raised up slightly. That's better. Yeah. So they're all at a slight angle, like that. Okay, and then in the gaps, we add in more compost. And then just gently compress that down. Now these are young, fresh plants. They came in about 3 days ago, I think now. So they are little, but we've given them a nice amount of space. They will become huge. And actually, that's a good point. If they become too big in your pot and you want to cut them down, which you obviously can, and if you're not using them enough, you know, with cooking, if that's not keeping them low down. Right, start again. Basically, you can prune the herbs if you want to. So, for example, with the rosemary, just cut it above where 2 leaves are starting to grow. With the sage, it's the same principle, or you can just take off sort of leaf by leaf, and then you'll see, like in here, there's some new leaves growing, little buds, and then they will just take the place of the leaves that you've removed. And then the thyme, again, just snip it where you can see little new leaves growing. And that's how you keep it sort of, I don't know, in check, I guess, if you want to keep it quite sort of small and compact. Or you can just let it go and it will trail and, you know, grow and look beautiful. With the sage, however, you might find that there are some yellower leaves down the bottom of the plant. They can just be taken off. There's no real reason, it's probably just because it's not got as much sunlight because it's hidden by some of the other bigger leaves above it, but you can just take those, like there's one there, literally just take it off, discard it, or you can leave it on, doesn't matter, but it just looks a bit sort of better and a bit healthier if you take off the yellow leaves. Okay, so now we can add in the moss. So you'll have your flat moss and your bun moss in your kits, and you simply add your moss around the base of your plants. Now obviously, I mean, you know, you're all adults, wash the moss off the herbs before you cook with them. I don't know if it would do any damage, I don't think it would, but I don't know. So just make sure, you know, just take the leaves from the top rather than around the base, and then you won't have the issue of any moss in your gravy or in your roast potatoes. Nobody wants that. But the reason the moss is so effective in these kits is because it keeps the moisture in and stops the compost, the moisture in the compost from evaporating too quickly. And it's also a really lovely thing to do. It's enjoyable to kind of pot up and to add the moss at the end, and it just finishes the kits off really beautifully. So there you have it. That is your herb planter. So in terms of care, in addition to the sort of pruning that I mentioned, herbs need to be kept in really decent sunlight. So I would put mine on a windowsill. I have one on my kitchen island at the moment. Again, my kitchen is northwest facing, so it's not dark, but it's not, you know, it's not a south facing kitchen, so it's not filled with sunlight, but it seems to be doing absolutely fine. I'm letting mine do its thing, it's going a bit mad, but I quite like that look, that sort of trailing look. So as much sun as possible is the key for this kit. Keep the compost damp, not waterlogged. So obviously, you know, the Mediterranean side of these herbs, they don't want to be sat in water with their root system for too long. So if you have water in your saucer, take that out. What else? So plenty of sun, keep the soil damp. You can prune if you want to, and that's about it. Just enjoy it. I really hope you enjoy cooking with these herbs. Yeah, that is the herb planter.